Okay, so welcome to this new lab, which is create a question answering solution. Now, this is one of the important lab from natural language processing module of Azure AI Service. Yes, we are going to use language services in this, and this is going to help us to create a knowledge base, which is going to be useful to create a custom question answering solution. So let's get started with this. I am going to log into my lab environment. And then we are going to follow the instructions. As you know, this lab environment is provided by Scalable. We are going to associate with our cloud slice, which is available with this username and password. First thing first, I have to open browser with portal.azure.com. Okay, let's do that. Now, after this, we have to create a separate language service. Remember, this time we are not creating an Azure AI service, which is a multi-service account. We're actually going to click on create resource, and then from the left side section, we are going to choose AI plus machine learning, and then we are going to create a language service, which is this one. Now, while creating the service, you have to make sure that you are going to select custom question answering section, which is this one. If you want to create a custom question answering solution, you have to add this additional feature. Now, as we already know, the default language service is actually providing only this default features. But if you want question answering, you're going to select this one, and then I'm going to click on continue to create your resource. We have our subscription, we have our resource group. We are going to choose a specific region which is going to be nearby to our location. So I think region wise they are specifying here that choose any available region, so we're okay with that. I'm going to provide a unique name. This is like Maruti Lang service with some number, and then I'm going to choose pricing tier, which can be free or standard. As of now, I'm going to go for free. It's also going to create a search region. So the search region also we're going to select same. It's also going to be free tier, and then for the responsible AI notice, we're going to say we agree, and then review plus create. Wait for the deployment to complete, and then we will make sure that we are going to view the keys and endpoint of the service. So we are done up to this initial part. Once validation is passed, I'm going to click on create. Okay, deployment is completed. Let's click on go to resource. It's going to take us to that language service. Yes, our language service is successfully created. And if you scroll down, you can see here we have a Language Studio link available here. So let's click on get started with Language Studio, which is going to open this in the separate browser tab. In the next section, they are asking us to create a question answering project, and that's what we are going to do in the Language Studio. This is the Language Studio. We have to click on sign in, and we have to make sure that we are going to associate this Language Studio with our language service. This is a very important part, so make sure when you click on sign in, it's going to take you to this page where it's going to ask you to choose your Active Directory, subscription, resource type, and resource name. Now, that's exactly what we are going to do right now. So we'll choose our Active Directory, our subscription, language type is the resource actually, so resource type is language, and resource name will be the one which we have created. We are happy with this. We are going to click on done. Once you associate Language Studio with your language service, then only you will be able to create a project. So then only this section is going to be enabled. Make sure if you are not getting the section enabled in the Language Studio, this means that you do not have an active language service connected with that. Don't forget to do this configuration, please. Now it's the time we are going to click on create new, and from the list of these projects which we can create, we are actually going to select custom question answering, which is the third one. I selected that, and it is asking me that what kind of a project you are trying to create, what would be the name and the language configurations. I'm going to say the project is going to be in English, and then we are going to click on next. The name of the project we are going to provide like Learn FAQ. This is going to be something like a FAQ from Microsoft Learn website. So it's going to take some existing question answers from Microsoft Learn website. And then in the description, we are just providing this is a FAQ for Microsoft Learn. And in the default answer, we actually can give anything. I'm just going to provide, sorry, I don't understand the question. And then we're going to click on next. I think rest of the things are fine. We just need to click on next and create project. Hey guys, sorry for interruption. My name is Maruti and I'm here to make a very important announcement. I hope you are liking our videos and you're doing a continuous learning with us on an Azure Cloud and AI related topics. If you are enjoying this thing, I'm going to announce skilltech.club, which is our upcoming website, which is going to be launched very soon. We are here to tell you one thing, that everyone who is a subscriber of this particular channel will get Azure Cloud and Azure AI related certification courses free of cost in skilltech.club. So you will be a part of the skilltech.club kind of a membership automatically free of cost. And everyone who's a subscriber of this particular channel will get those benefits which are available in that. So what are you waiting for? I request you to please subscribe to this channel and share it with your friends and families if they are also interested in Azure Cloud and AI learning. That's it from my side. Now you can carry on with your learning. Thank you. The project is successfully created. Remember, we are just taking an example of an official sample, which is Microsoft Learn website based sample. If you want, you can try any other documents, you can try any other links where you already have some kind of a question answering pair which are selected with that. So make sure you can do that. Right now, this is my project which is successfully created, and left side we have Azure Search, we have Manage Sources, we have Edit Knowledge Base if I want to add manually some of the questions, then we have Deploy Knowledge Base, and then we have Review as well as some other project settings which we can do. Now right now let's do one thing. Let's go to the Manage Sources section, which is here, and we are going to add some of the sources. The first source we are adding is actually from the URL. So let's click on the URL. I want to add one URL which is going to be from my Learn FAQ page, which is already available on the website on this particular URL. So I'm just taking this URL from here. If you also want to use the same kind of a sample, you can use this URL, which is an official FAQ page on Microsoft Learn website. Everything else is fine. I'm just going to click on Add All. Now, once this source is actually added, this is a URL based source which we have just now configured. We also want to add one more source, which is going to be a chit chat. But before we add a chit chat, which is mentioned in the next step, let's check one thing first, that if this source is successfully added, how many questions are actually added because of this? And that is something which you can check here. So this is my one source which is added from Learn FAQ page. If I go into this Edit Knowledge Base section, is going to show me the questions which are added from this Learn FAQ page. And as you can see here, 63 question answer pair are actually added from this particular one single link. Now obviously I can go and see these questions, or if I want I can manually add some questions in the knowledge base. But as of now, let's add one more source. For some common questions, we want to add chit chat. And in this chit chat, we want that chit chat has to be friendly. So if someone is going to put some chit chat kind of a question, we are going to expect a friendly response based on that. This kind of multiple sources you can add here, and you can add more questions into your knowledge base. So I think let's wait for a few more seconds, and the another source is also going to be added here with some additional questions inside that. Yes, chit chat with friendly manner is actually added here. And now if we go and check our knowledge base, it's going to have more questions added into this. Yes, now you can see it is 153 question answer pairs which are there. Not only that, there are a couple of questions which are actually having multiple alternative questions associated with that. Like for example, you can see this is a question which is coming from chit chat, which is saying, I'm so bored of you. If someone is going to say, I'm so bored of you, we actually have 112 alternative questions. In any of these alternative questions, which are like someone is saying you're dull, you basic, so dull, whatever. In all these questions, it's just going to simply reply Swiss and a miss. Now, sorry, my apologies. It is swing and a miss. And now this kind of questions and answer pair, if you also want, you can add it. Now, let's say in this case, while we are customizing this knowledge base and all, we want to edit the knowledge base and we want to add some questions from our side. So I'm going into my knowledge base and I'm going to add some questions. So let's say I'm going to add my first question by clicking on this plus. It's asking me in which source you want to add on this thing. I'm saying the source is going to be my Learn FAQ because in this only I want to add it. In the question, I'm saying what are Microsoft credentials? And then in the answer, I'm just going to say Microsoft credentials will enable you to profile skills with Microsoft technologies. Now, I can give some additional customizations also, that for more information, you can contact Maruti, like, because I'm just going to be one of the experts helping you in this, I can add that also. And cool, I think this is fine. I can add metadata, I can add follow-on prompts, but as of now, I'm selecting done. The question is added. Now we have 154. And if that is the case, let's add one more thing. So in this page now, we are going to see that what are Microsoft credentials question is actually successfully created. And now I want to add some alternate question of that. If someone is asking in a different way, like how can I demonstrate my Microsoft technology skill? This is an alternate question associated with that. Now I am just adding this alternate question. So if someone is asking either this or this question, the answer is going to remain same. Now under this, we also want to add something like follow-up prompt. Now you can see exactly below this, we have 0 follow-up prompts right now, but we can expand this and we can say we want to add one follow-up prompt. If someone is trying to check for Microsoft Learn credentials and other Azure certifications kind of thing, we are going to say we want a text to display the prompt for the user that learn more about credentials, and then we are going to specify some kind of a configuration here. So we are going to click on create a link to a new pair in which we are going to provide that you can learn more about credentials on Microsoft credentials page, and then we are providing a link of that Microsoft credential page. Now this is exactly what we are following in this instruction. After this, we are going to click on add prompt. Now we also have to select that show into contextual flow only. I do not want a separate section for this, so this is fine. We'll click on add prompt, and I think the follow-up prompt is also successfully added. If all these things are done, just make sure that you are going to click on save. Some people forget this save button, so please make sure you're going to click on the save. Once the save is successfully done, yes, it's done. So now we are going to try whether this is working or not. In order to do that thing, I'm going to click on this little icon here, which is exactly below the question answer pairs, and it's showing me taste. This is going to help me to check whether my question answering is working properly based on my knowledge base or not. And that's exactly what we are going to do right now. So I'm first going to put, as per the instructions here, like let's say we are just trying with hello. It's replying with hi. Don't focus on the UI. This is super ugly. We have a very lengthy hi, but that's okay. Then I'm going to ask for what is Microsoft Learn, and maybe this is going to take from the knowledge base. Yeah, it's showing me we provide role and product focusing documentations, hands-on training, blah blah blah. And then I'm going to say thanks. Now in between, if I try to add something which is coming from that chit chat, kind of a friendly chit chat, it's going to respond with that. Now thanks is something which is coming from that one. Now I'm going to say tell me about Microsoft credentials. And if I do this, now this time my question should appear, and it's showing me that yep, Microsoft credentials enable you to validate and prove your skills with Microsoft technologies. I have a link associated with that, which is like learn more about credentials. Now if I select this learn more about credential, which is actually a follow-up link, it's going to take me in the same section. It's going to say, okay, you can learn more about this credentials on this particular page, which is Microsoft credential page. And now that is something like it's working fine as I expected. Once you're done with this testing, which means that your knowledge base is perfectly fine, it's working fine, then it is the time you can deploy the knowledge base. And for that, we have to click on this left side section, which is deploy knowledge base. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click on deploy, which is here. And then again, we are going to click on deploy. This deployment can take some time, depends upon the service which you have provisioned actually. Once the deployment of the service is successfully done, we will be able to get the prediction URL, which is actually hosting this service on the Azure cloud, and then you can share that REST-based URL with your developer team or with your other consumers so they can use this knowledge base. Yes, our knowledge base is successfully deployed. It's showing me here in this green tick with alert. And now I have multiple options which are enabled here. I can click on this get prediction URL, which is actually going to give me a pop-up right now. like this. And this is that URL which I can use to test whether the knowledge base is working or not. In order to check whether this is working fine or not, you can even use this kind of a curl command, which is available here. And then you can see basically this is trying to hit that particular URL with the help of a simple question and answer associations with that. Now you can use this button, copy, and then you can try that thing. I'm not going to validate this. I know it's going to work right now. What I want you to see right now is one more thing, which is this one. There is a section here in the same page which is create a bot. Now if I want to create a bot, I can just click on this button and that's going to take me to a new page. So let me just click on that once. If required, I'll just show you this thing right now. Now we have an Azure bot service, we have an Azure bot framework, and that is going to help you to develop a bot directly on your Azure portal. So you can do this custom deployment. You can see it is directly loading this ARM template, which is basically actually going to create a web app, and that web app is going to have this knowledge base of your custom question answering associated with that. So this is one of the way you can create your own customized bot, and then you can use it as you want. Now I'm not going with this custom deployment right now, but yeah, if you want to try this and if you have a provisioning available in that particular service, you can do that. As of now, if we proceed further, it's saying that you prepare and develop an app in Visual Studio Code. So let's do that one. Yes, my Visual Studio is started. I'm going to do Control-Shift-P, git clone. As usual, this is a command which we always use. And then I have to use this URL. Remember, this is a Microsoft Learn Git repository. You can also use the same URL and you can get this code with that. Select destination repository. It will take some time, and then the repository will be cloned. Okay, I think the repository is cloned. We have lab file section, and this is actually having multiple language service specific sample applications inside that. Right now, if this is done, we will just proceed to the section where we have to focus on lab files and then to Q&A. I think this is the one which we have to look in this. We have C# and Python specific applications available here. And in this case, we are just going to focus on C# because that's what we have here. I'm going to right click on my application and the folder which is Q&A app, and then I have to open this in terminal. So let's do that. Right click, open in integrated terminal. We need to add a package which is Azure AI Language question answering. So let's do that once the terminal is loaded. Okay, executing a simple .NET add package command here. Yes, the package is successfully installed. Now it's the time we have to go to Q&A app. We have to click on app settings.json, and this is a file where we actually have to provide our endpoint and key. Now in order to access this, we have to go to our Azure portal. So let's go to our Azure portal. This is my language service. Under resource management, I have keys and endpoint. I'll copy my one of the key. I'll paste it here in the AI service key, which is actually your language service key. And then we also need endpoint, so we'll copy endpoint. And then we also need QA project name and then QA deployment now. Now, if you see right now, QA project name, we have already given learn FAQ, so we don't need to change it. And QA deployment name is something which is mentioned here, production. Now, in our case, when we have done the deployment, which is this one, so this is our deployment, and then when we did this thing, we actually given some particular configurational things here, so it's actually by default going to be production with that. So that is fine. I think we don't need to change it. It's just asking us here in the instructions also that just change the endpoint and key, and then the project name and the deployment name for your deployed knowledge base should also be in this particular file. If you want to change it, you can do it accordingly. I'm just going to click on save, and then we are going to move forward to the program.cs, which is actually going to have the code changes inside that. So I'm going into program.cs. First step, we have to import the AI namespaces, Azure, and then Azure AI Language question answering. Then it's a simple code which is actually trying to create configurational object, client object with the service endpoint, project name, deployment name. And then we have to actually just configure the client endpoint and key here. So let's add this code. This is going to take that credential, it's going to create a question answering solution with that. Perfect. And then we have a section which is submit a question and display the answer of that. Now this code I want you to check, because if you see right now, this code is actually trying to take one particular string which is a user question. When user is going to put a question in the command prompt, we'll take that one, and then based on that question we'll try to read the answer from that service. Now if user want to just end this conversation, he can type quit and then it will be cancelled with that. Otherwise it's going to try to find the answer using this get answer kind of a method which is coming here, and then based on that it's going to find the answer and it's going to give me that. Now this for each loop is just going to search the answer from the knowledge base, because we can have multiple values in that answers, and then those answers will be printed here with the confidence score and the source of the answer, which means that either it's coming from learn FAQ or maybe it is coming from the chit chat. So we'll see that part. Now after this we just have to save our application. So let's save and just make sure that you do not have any issues in this. So let's see .NET build. Now we can run this also, but I always check with the build first. If build is not showing me any errors or warning, then I always love to do .NET run. Okay, it's showing me all projects are up to date for restore. That's perfect. I'll wait for this to show me the command prompt so that I can fire my next command. Yes, it is showing me that. Let's put .NET run so that we can run this application with that. Now instructions are showing me that we have to ask a question, what is the learning path? Now we'll see that, but before that let's see if it is asking me the prompt. Yes, it is asking me the prompt. I'm going to say, hey, how are you doing? So I'm just asking this, and hopefully this is going to respond with the help of chit chat answers. So when I do this, it's saying, hey, I'm doing great, thanks for asking. Confidence score is 91%, source is Q&A chit chat friendly. And now if we ask something from this, okay, it's not allowing me to type in the command prompt. That happens. So I'm going to just directly type it. Copy paste is not working. So what is a learning path? It's saying learning paths are collections of training modules that are organized around specific roles. And now confidence score is 100 and the source is actually coming from that FAQ, which is fine. And now obviously if things are working fine, we'll just type quit and it's going to end this application. And that is a point where we have to clean up our resources. Now in this case, we have to delete the resources which we have created, and that's what I'm going to do next. But for you guys, this is the end of the lab. Thank you so much. I hope you understood and I hope you like it. Thank you so much. See you in the next lab.